Well, hey guys, we're obviously in McNairy County, Tennessee today. We're doing another little cemetery hop to visit the graves of some of the folks who would have been right here on August the 12th, 1967. Frank was the Alcorn County deputy that was up here helping with the investigation. RC Matlock was a constable in McNairy County, and Ward Moore was the coroner. Now here's a picture that was in the paper of Frank and RC, looking at what the paper calls a possible sniper's lair, a place where a gunman could have waited before he opened fire on the Pussers. Now I think this lair is actually located down by the bridge, which of course is the first ambush spot. You know, I like to visit the graves of these guys and pay my respects to them because of their service that they rendered their communities. And I like to think about all the questions that I would ask each of them if I could. As we visit the graves of these gentlemen, I'm going to just simply read you a newspaper article I found about the ambush. We'll paraphrase the article for you anyway. It was written by a guy named James Casey. An all-out manhunt was launched in McNairy County Saturday, seeking the killer or killers who ambushed Sheriff Buford Pusser and his wife, killing her instantly and wounding him. The article says Pusser is 29 years old and is in stable condition in Baptist Hospital in Memphis. One thing I'd like to mention as we come up to Frank's grave is he comes from a law enforcement family. His brother David was chief of the Mississippi Highway Patrol, and then he became commissioner of the Department of Public Safety. The article says that the Pussers were ambushed on New Hope Road near the Mississippi-Tennessee border about 5 a.m. Saturday. Bullets from one or more high-powered rifles riddled the Pussers' car with holes. Miss Pusser, who was older than Buford, she was 33. She died from a massive head wound, and Buford's chin was partially shot off. They were answering a disturbance call. The paper says, near the state line, known as a trouble area. Now, I've got to tell you, it has always bothered me that the man took his wife along on any kind of call. The article does go on to say that after the shooting, Pusser managed to drive his patrol car about 8 miles after radioing in his situation. It says he stopped outside of Selmer and was met by an ambulance and other patrol cars. A highway patrolman said the sheriff mumbled a few words, but that he was addled and incoherent. Later that day, Pusser sent word via a nurse at Baptist Hospital that he would give out no statement. And as he was being wheeled into surgery, he was asked if he knew his assailant, and he replied, "I don't know." TBI, or Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, pried bullets from the death car and were sent off for ballistic study on that very Saturday. If any of you that happen upon this video have seen the report of the TBI about the ballistics of those bullets, please comment. And oh yeah, just bump that like button while you're at it. The article says no spent cartridges were found at the ambush site, and by late Saturday, officers had nothing definite to go on. No weapons had been discovered, and no suspects had been jailed. The article said there was plenty of motive, at least according to some citizens of Selmer. It quotes a guy from Selmer that says, "I've known Buford Pusser for 15 years. He was cleaning up the bootleggers and the moonshiners. The people who had been breaking the law were after him." So maybe this is where the legend started. All over Selmer Saturday, and particularly in the area of the courthouse, people were talking about the shooting. The article goes on to call the killers them, and it talks about Buford and his previous brushes with death, usually with moonshiners and bootleggers. It talks about the 2 other times he was shot at and the multiple times he was stabbed in his previous brushes with death. Honestly, to me, the article sounds kind of like a fan letter, and I guess if your sheriff had just been shot, you wouldn't want to write anything bad about him. And I hope you've noticed this is the grave of RC Matlock. He's the constable, and he was stationed at the bridge, or the first ambush site, on August the 12th to, well, protect or watch over it until all the law enforcement officials could get there. Now we're making our way to the grave of Ward Moore. He was the coroner. He had quite an accomplished career. He retired after 40 years as director of Shackelford Funeral Home, and he also served as coroner of McNairy County for 40 years. He served on the Selmer Utility Commission for 20 years, 10 of those years being its chairman. He also served as the sheriff of McNairy County, completing the term of Sheriff James Dickey when he was killed in a car wreck in 1964. He was a member of the Tennessee Law Enforcement Association, and apparently at some point he worked for the McNairy County Highway Department. Ward was on the McNairy County General Hospital Board. He was a Methodist, and he was a Mason. Ward certainly had a long and very distinguished career serving the people of McNairy County and, well, even West Tennessee. And since Pauline Pusser was just reinterred here in the last month or so after a recent autopsy because one was not performed way back in 1967, I would just love to ask Ward why that happened. I bet he knows the answer to that question. Nonetheless, I hope you've enjoyed visiting these sites and meeting these men who served their community so ably. And once again, if I've got anything wrong, or you just want to leave a comment to educate us further, then please feel free to do so, as long as you can do it respectfully. Thank you.